On how to install the 2-inch cowl louvers. This is how that works. I give you that template. From this corner up to the front is 23 inches. I know in my other video I said 24, which you can also do 24 and a quarter. But I wanted to get this space to be more proportional to the overall hood. And that I decided that 23 is a good fit. 23 inches from there to there. From the edge, make sure you square it off, not at an angle diagonally. At 90 degrees from this, go across to there, 12 and 7/8. 12 and 7/8 to that corner. Put up your template, mark it all around, and you are gonna be cutting. See if I can focus this in here. You are gonna be cutting with your blade in here, the inside part. So in other words, you're gonna respect the outline. That stays intact. Your cut, you cut that much, which is 1/16 or whatever that 0.040 thick the blade is. So anyways, that's that. Once you cut it out, I cut grinder here and there. When I'm cutting here, I am careful not to cut the structure all the way to the bottom. I stay on top. I do it with the grinder and a cutoff wheel, a bigger one. That one's too small. Once I get in here, I get one of the smaller wheels that have been used. You're able to kind of get away from it, get a nice curve. You get to the very edge, I use the Dremel with a small little cutoff wheel. So you get a nice perfect cut all the way around. Okay, this is the way I install it. Many different ways of doing it, but I come in here, I push that side in, come back, and push it back towards the back here. Kind of get a good idea where it's gonna be at. As you can see, fits pretty good. I still have to line it up completely and just play with it and put tape on it to hold it where I want. But that's pretty much where it needs to be. Turn off this light. There you go. Like I said, that one's overlapping right now, but it won't be once I'm done. So you see how that goes in? Like I said, on the final, I am gonna leave this nice and flush so you won't have that overlap. I just want to give you an idea of how you put it in there. Now, second, you put this in there and you figure out you can't put it in there or whatnot because it doesn't fit, it's too tight of a fit. You need a little wiggle room. So what I do, I cut that little slot here to let this guy in there. Once you've done that, you put it on there and you're like, oh, it still doesn't fit that great. Okay, this is straight. The hood's got a whole lot going on. It's got a curvature that way, and it's got a little bit of curvature this way and whatnot. So it's got a whole lot of curvatures going on that plays with the dimensions of the template. So my suggestion is, yeah, it'll fit that way. I can weld it that way. But I like my fit up to be as perfect as possible to alleviate and make it easier on the welding, therefore not creating that much heat and avoiding some of the warpage that comes with it. So I spend a lot of time on fit up, and it pays off when it comes down to welding and body work and whatnot. So once you do that, play with it, get it in there, line it up as much as possible. It's gonna look pretty straight. When it gets here, this overlaps here. So that piece needs to come out. And again, that's due to the curvature of the hood. Now, the easiest way that I found to do that, all right, video number 3. So to cut that section off or piece, I just go back and forth with this and kind of lay on it a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit of time. Kind of like, almost you could say, I guess, skive it a little bit and get rid of it until you get a perfect fit up all the way across. And I'll see if I can show you on the next video after I do what kind of fit up we're looking at, and some other tips and tricks on how to install these as best as possible. All right, next step. So I cut that section here I thought I needed an extra one, so I did an extra line, but no, I don't need it. So anyhow, I cut that. I leveled it out as much as possible. I cut additionally onto this section here because I needed some wiggle room there, because I mean it's a tight fit, if you can see behind it and on the front. So you need, and like I said, the most important thing is this line here. I like to have a good fitment on there, for the simple reason that it makes it much easier for the welding, as I mentioned earlier. That one's pretty nice on there too. I got some gaps there, like this one. I can deal with this one, and obviously that one I'm gonna have to play with that one. And this here, push it up, tack it, cut it to where it needs to be, and then come back and weld it. So I'll leave that loose for that purpose. But other than that, that's about it. I run about 50 amps, and I try to do mostly fuse welding on there. I'll tack it throughout the whole perimeter or whatnot. By the time I'm done, I'll probably have tacks at every 1/4 inch or every 5/8, whatever the case might be. Kind of hold the whole thing together, so when I start welding, it doesn't start pulling and doing all kind of funny stuff. That works out for me. So I do spot welds through the whole thing, and then I just come back and run some beads, and I try to run, if I get a really good fitment, I'm able to do a fuse weld. Anyhow, that is pretty much the fitment that we are looking for. But like I said, this is kind of like ideally, excuse the focusing, my phone is crap. Apple probably wants me to buy another one. You see, that's the fitment that I'm looking for there. See the edge? I mean, it's tight. Okay, here we go. So I showed you guys the setup as far as how that went. So anyhow, this is tacked in already. As you can see, I'm probably doing about a little bit over a 1/4, maybe 5/16 separations on the tacks all throughout. You can see the gap is pretty minimal. There's a little funky, there's a little funny also. But throughout the perimeter there, or should I say, this lower portion here is pretty nice and tight. I think I might be able to get away with some fuse welding there. So now this here, I tack it in, and then I come with the grinder with the cutoff tool and cut it right there, and then I can weld the edge just like these guys. See if I can get a close-up of the edge here. Come on. There we go. So that's really there. So that's partly the hard part, how to weld that without turning that into crap. Because this is pretty thin, that's pretty thin, and it's almost like, well, anyways, it's kind of tricky, but I'll show you once it's done.
Ha, sicker than your average. Papa twist cabbage off instinct. Niggas don't think stink pink gators. My Detroit players. Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. Dead right. If they head right, Biggie there, air night. Papa been smooth since days of under rule.